Everyone to our Prabhuji class. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Jnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Chaitanya Manobhishtam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः रमा ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नितिनामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशधारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Chaitanya Charitāmrta overview class. We are discussing from Madhya lila. We are on chapter 13. We are hearing in this chapter the wonderful dancing of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in front of Lord Jagannath. So in this chapter, in the beginning, we heard Prataprudhan Maharaj, he came and he sweep the road in front of Lord Jagannath. And Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, seeing this humble service attitude of King Prataprudra, became very, very happy and satisfied. Mahaprabhu and all the devotees, first of all, they observed Pandu Vijay ceremony, and then Mahaprabhu, he organized 4 Sankirtan parties in front of Lord Jagannath's Rath. Then 2 parties were on the both sides, one at the back. And Mahaprabhu was dancing in each and every party simultaneously. Nobody could see this. Only Prataprudra Maharaj could see. And Kashi Mishra told him that you are so fortunate. You can see the wonderful manifestation of Lord's mercy. Lord has blessed you by his mercy. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as he was dancing, he was singing beautiful prayers. Namo Mahavadanyaya, Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmanya Hitaya Cha. Then Jayati Jayati Devo, Devaki Nandano. So then another prayer he was singing, Jayati Jannivaso, Devaki Janmavado. So all these beautiful prayers he was singing. And then he also sang this famous verse, Naham Pro Nachanarpati. So all these wonderful verses he was singing, and Lord was dancing, exhibiting such ecstatic symptoms which were unseen. The ears were coming out of the eyes of Lord like syringes. Lord's entire body would be covered with goosebumps like the shimuli tree thorn. So many things were happening. Swarup Damodar Goswami was singing various verses from scriptures according to the mood of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Whenever Lord would come in front, Lord Jagannath's Rath, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would be in front of Lord Jagannath's, Jagannath would move slowly. When Mahaprabhu would be at the back, Rath would stop. There was a competition going on between Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Jagannath. And Kaviraj Goswami says, Mahaprabhu, he calls him as Mahabali. He is more powerful. He is controlling the movements of Lord Jagannath. Then Mahaprabhu goes in the mood of Srimati Radharani. And in the mood of Srimati Radharani, she is speaking that for others, their mind and their heart are different. For others, their mind and heart are one. But for me, my mind is Vrindavan. Annera hridayaman muraman Vrindavan mane vane ek horijani. तहा तुम्हार पद द्वय करा है दियुदय तबे तुम्हार पूर्ण कृपा मानी. And she's requesting Lord Krishna, please come back. Place your lotus feet again in Vrindavan. Because you never step out of Vrindavan. My heart is Vrindavan. My mind is Vrindavan. Please enter my mind. Enter Vrindavan. And then so many wonderful descriptions we heard in the mood of Srimati Radharani. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is requesting, she is requesting, Radharani is requesting Krishna, please come back. You are not seeing the distress of Vrindavan Vasis. You are not, how can you forget Vrindavan? How can you forget Govardhan? Vrindavan Govardhan, Jamuna Pulinavan, Saisabara Sadi, Seikunjera Sadi Kalila. Brajajanera Brajajan Mata Pita Bandhu Gana Bada Chitra Kemane Pasarila. It is so very astonishing that you forgot Vrindavan, Govardhan, Jamuna, forests of Vrindavan. How can you forget all that? How can you forget Nandi Yashoda? And then she says, you do one thing. Either you come back and please give back our life, or you kill us. नागण्या पनार दुख देखी ब्रजेश्वरी मुख ब्रज जनेर हृदय बिदरे किबा मार ब्रजवासी किबा जियाओ ब्रजयासी किने जियाओ दुख सही बारे. Why are you making us live just to suffer? So we heard till verse number 147. In that, Radharani says, Tumi brajera jivana brajrajera pranadhan. You are the life of Vrindavan, you are the life of Nand Maharaj. Tumi brajera sakala sampad, you are the treasure of Vrindavan. Kripardr Tromaraman Asi Jiao Brajajan. You are so compassionate. Please come back and give life to the Brajvasis. Braje Uday Karao Nijapada. So in this way, Radharani makes all the requests. So after hearing the request of Srimati Radharani, Krishna, he is now replying. So Kaviraj Goswami is describing the reply of Krishna. And Krishna, Lord Krishna, was very, very, his mind and his body was really very anxious hearing these prayers, these requests of Srimati Radharani. He became very anxious. And after hearing all these things, he really felt indebted to Radharani and all the Brajvasis. So he began replying. He said, Oh, my dear Srimati Radharani, please hear my words. I'm speaking truth. He says, every day I cry. I cry every day and night, simply remembering all your activities. I remember all the inhabitants of Vrindavan, all Brajvasis, and I'm crying in separation from them. Nothing makes me happy. And nobody knows that I am not happy here. Srila Prabhupada writes, Vrindavanam parityajya padam ekam na gacchati. Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. He never puts one step out of Vrindavan. So therefore, Krishna says, actually, my mind is always in Vrindavan. I am always thinking of the Brajvasis. But Prabhupada writes that sometimes to do some duties, Krishna has to leave Vrindavan. And therefore, when he was away from Vrindavan, he was not at all happy. So he is telling that I am not happy here. Krishna continues. Brajavasi yatajan mata pita sakhagan sabhe hoye mor pranasam तार मध्ये गोपीगण साक्षात मोर जीवन तुमी मोर जीवनेर जीवन. So Krishna is expressing his heart in these verses as described by Kaviraj Goswami. Bhagavad Gita, these are the words of Krishna. Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavatam, activities and pastimes of Krishna. Bhagavad Gita is a graduate study of Krishna consciousness. Bhagavatam is postgraduate study. What is specialization? What is PhD study? Kaviraj Goswami is describing the heart and mind of Krishna. He's describing the consciousness of Krishna in Chaitanya Charitāmrta. He says, Krishna is telling, all the Brajvasis, my mother, my father, all my friends, Mata Brajvasi Yatajana, Mata Pita Sakhagana, Sabe Hoy Mora Prana, they are my life. They are my life and soul. And amongst all of the Brajvasis, Tar Madhya Gopi Gana, of all the Brajvasis, the Gopis, they are actually my life. Sakshat Mora Jivan. And you, Srimati Radharani, you are the life of my life. Yeah. Tumi Mora Jivanera Jivana. You are life of my life. So Srila Prabhupada writes, very, very interesting purport here. He says, Srimati Radharani is the center of Vrindavan's activities. Therefore, all the Brajvasis, they always say Radhe Radhe. Prabhupada writes, from Krishna's own statement here, it appears that Srimati Radharani is the queen of Vrindavan and Krishna is simply her decoration. Krishna, Radharani is the queen of Vrindavan. Krishna is simply her decoration. He is purchased by the love of Srimati Radharani. Krishna is Madan Mohan and Radharani is Madan Mohan Mohini. He is attracting even Krishna, who attracts Cupid himself. So that's why Krishna is conquered by the love of Srimati Radharani. He's purchased by the love. He becomes a servant of Srimati Radharani in Vrindavan. He is ready to do anything. We know the story of Jayadev Goswami. As he is writing this Gita Govinda, in one place, he is absorbed in meditation. Whatever he would meditate on, he would write it. So one day in meditation, he saw that Srimati Radharani is angry and Krishna, just to pacify Srimati Radharani, he puts his head at the feet of Srimati Radharani. So this Jayadev Goswami came out of his meditation and thought, how can I write this? Nobody will accept this. So he didn't write. He went out to do some Madhukari. He said, maybe I'll write something later. Let me go out and do some Madhukari. As he steps out of his ashram, his hut, his wife was still there. After a few moments, he comes back. And his wife asks, "Hey, you came so early?" He said, yes, I remembered something I wanted to write down. He went inside and he wrote something and then again he left. Then again, after a few minutes, he came back. After some time, he came back. So his wife again asked, "Hey, you just came back. You went and again you are coming back. What is happening?" So Jayadev Goswami said, I didn't come. He said, yes. She said, yes, you came back. You went inside and you wrote down something and then you left. And then when Jayadev Goswami came back and saw what was written, it was the same thing which had come in his meditation, which he hesitated to write. Then he realized Krishna personally came and wrote down all that. So there are hundreds of pastimes describing how Krishna is completely conquered by the love of Srimati Radharani. So here Prabhupada is writing the same thing in this purport. Srimati Radharani is the queen of Vrindavan and Krishna is simply her decoration. He continues, Krishna continues, "Oh my dear Srimati Radharani, I am subservient to the loving affairs of all of you. I am just controlled by them. And I am just under their control, under your control. But somehow, only because of my misfortune, I am separated from all of you. So how can there be misfortune for Krishna? Krishna, who is all auspicious, just by being in touch with Krishna, everything becomes auspicious. And Krishna is there telling, this is just because of my misfortune. यस्याखिलामेव हवि सुमङ्गलै वाचो विमिश्रा गुणकर्म जन्मभिः प्राणन्ति शुम्भन्ति पुनन्ति वै जगत्यास्ताद्विरक्ता सवशोभनामति. Bhagavatam describes the words which are mixed with name, form, pastimes of Krishna. Vacho vimishra guna karma janma. These descriptions of the pastimes of the Lord, they give life, they give auspiciousness, they enliven the world. Pran dete hain, prananti, shumbhanti, punanti. Otherwise, everything else in this world is just a decoration of dead body. That supreme source of all auspiciousness, he is telling, because of some misfortune, it is only because of my strong misfortune that I am separated from my dearmost Rajvasis. So all these wonderful descriptions, they are there so that we can hear, we can understand the mood of separation of Rajvasis, the mood of separation. Even Krishna is feeling from his devotees. We should not take these words literally. These are the expressions of a heart of Krishna as he is in separation from his devotees. So there is complete rasa which is getting exchanged here, nothing else. So we should not philosophize these descriptions. How Krishna is saying misfortune? No, how can Krishna go into any misfortune? It is just the expression of the heart of Krishna as he is in separation. And all these pastimes Lord has performed so that we can hear, we can relish, we can understand how Krishna feels for his devotees. And that makes one very, very attracted towards Krishna. And Krishna is also thinking about his devotees. He is not a God who is just interested in punishing the wrongdoers. He is thinking about his devotees. That is our hope, that is our fortune. Krishna thinks, Krishna cares, Krishna protects his devotees. And all these wonderful descriptions, they are there just to show us these principles, to show the heart of Krishna, to show the consciousness of Krishna. And hearing all this, we should become more attracted to the pastimes, more attracted to serving Krishna. Because in this world, if somebody shows some selfless nature, he becomes very attractive. If somebody is caring, protective, he becomes really attractive. Everybody wants to be with that person, not to speak of Krishna. So Krishna is a supreme Lord, but he personally thinks about his devotees. Again and again in scriptures, he tells, I personally take care of my devotees. Yasyaham anugrahana, it says, uh, in the 9th chapter, Bhagavad Gita, 22nd verse, Ananya Shintayanto Mam Yejana Pariyupasate, Tesham Nityabhuktanam Yogakshemam Bahami Aham. He says, I personally carry. Acharyas, they tell, Krishna is telling, I personally do it. He doesn't delegate this to all his energies. Taking care of the devotees is done personally by Krishna. So this aham word comes again and again. Ashnami, I eat it. Krishna tells in 9.26, Patram Pushpam, I eat it. In the 15th chapter also Krishna says, I personally save a devotee who's drowning in this ocean of birth and death. So that's how these descriptions, they should make us more attracted towards Krishna. Krishna continues, when a woman is separated from her beloved, or when a man is separated from his beloved, actually neither of them can live. When the love is so intense, they cannot live. But still they continue to live because they know, each of them know, if I die, then my beloved will also die. So just so that other person continues living, the person also lives. So Krishna is saying like that I am living because I know I die, you all will die. He says a chaste, devoted wife, loving wife, and a loving husband. A chaste, devoted wife and a loving husband. They always live for each other's welfare. That's the ideal thing. And they don't care for personal happiness. So therefore, he says, only desiring only each other's well-being, they meet, and when they are separated, they don't die. So Krishna is telling like this. And then he says, O Srimati Radharani, you are my most dear. And I know that in my absence you cannot live for a moment. But you know what I am doing? So Krishna is such amazing. He says here, just so that you continue living, I worship Lord Narayan. So what is the need for Krishna to worship Narayan? But these are the loving pastimes, loving dealings which Krishna uh, performs with his devotees just to increase their love. All the pastimes Krishna does is to increase the love of his devotees. Go in Bhagavatam, it is described. Krishna as a small child, he is keeping the footwears of Nanda Maharaj on his head, going to give, and he comes near and gives him the footwears. बिभर्ति क्वचिदगप्त पीठकोन्मानपादुकः बाहुक्षेपं च कुरुते स्वानां च प्रीतिमावहन्. Sometimes Yashoda Maya would tell Krishna, please bring that small table. And Krishna is still a small boy. And he's not able to push it. So what he does? He just slaps his arms like some person who has sufficient strength just to tell Mother Yashoda, don't worry, I'll do it. Swanam cha pritimavahan, just to increase the love of Yashoda Maya. So Krishna is speaking all these statements just so that Radharani can understand how much Lord is remembering her. And he says, because I worship Lord Narayan, by his merciful potency, I come to Vrindavan and I perform pastimes. Nobody can see this. In the aprakata state, I come there. And therefore, you always feel my presence and you're not dying. He says, our love affair is more powerful because Narayana has graced our love affair. Lord Narayan has given his mercy. That's why we are still living. And he says, I hope very soon I'll be visible to everyone. Srila Prabhupada writes there in the purport. Krishna has two kinds of presence, Prakata Lila or Prakata Lila. Prakata means when Krishna is personally present, everyone can see his pastimes. And Aprakata Lila means when Krishna is not visible to the eyes of Brajvasis. But pure devotees, they can always see Krishna with their eyes, which are anointed with the salve of devotion. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti. Santa, the devotees, they always see Krishna in their hearts, with their eyes, which is anointed with devotion. Prabhupada writes, even though Krishna was living in Dwarka, he was simultaneously present before all the Brajvasis. They could always have darshan of Krishna in their heart. And then Prabhupada writes, because devotees, they are absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. Definitely they will see Krishna face to face at the end of their life. After going back to spiritual world, they will see Krishna face to face. Prabhupada writes another important thing. He says, because during his lifetime, a devotee speaks about Krishna, serves Krishna, always remembers Krishna. Therefore, naturally, after leaving his body, he goes back to the place where Krishna is living. And there he meets Krishna directly. That is successful human life. And Prabhupada writes one of the line of the verses. That's the meaning of Prakateha Anive Sattvar. Prakateha Anive. Very soon you will see me personally in Vrindavan. All the Brajavasis will see me in Vrindavan. Krishna continues. He's giving so many wonderful, uh, heartfelt expressions, revealing his plan. He says, I have already killed so many demons, killed Kamsa and all his allies. 4 demons are more remaining. Very quickly, I'll kill them also, and then I'll come back to Vrindavan. I'm not coming now because if I come now, all these demons, they will come and they will trouble the Brajavasis because they are my enemies. Again, Prabhupada writes, just as Krishna does not take away a step out of Vrindavan, a devotee also does not like to leave Vrindavan. Very important thing Prabhupada is writing in this purport. And actually, he's telling about himself indirectly here. Prabhupada writes, however, first he says a devotee never wants to leave Vrindavan. However, if he has to tend to some business given by Krishna, then he leaves Vrindavan. And after finishing his mission, the devotee returns back to Vrindavan. One time, Bhavanand Prabhu, he was telling that Krishna Srila Prabhupada, he was talking to him and he spoke something very, very interesting. He was talking about so many things. He said, Prabhupada was telling, I have places all over the world. I have palaces all over the world. Devotees, they have made palaces for Prabhupada. Wonderful staying facilities. And Prabhupada says, actually, there is no difference between Goswamis and myself. Goswamis were living in different trees, under different trees every night. I am living in different temples every night. And then Prabhupada spoke something really, really wonderful. He said, actually, originally, I didn't want to come here. And Bhavananda Prabhu could realize that he is not speaking about coming to America. He was speaking about coming to the material world. Srila Prabhupada told him, originally, I didn't want to come here. But Krishna asked, I want you to go and write some books. Just go, write down some books and come back. Srila Prabhupada said, I told him I don't want to go down. Krishna told, you don't worry. I'll make all the arrangements. You just go, write books and come back. So Bhavananda was telling that this was the first and the only time he heard Prabhupada speaking about his coming to this material world. And after finishing his mission, he went back to the spiritual world. And that's what Prabhupada is writing in this purport here. Just like Krishna doesn't leave Vrindavan, a devotee of Krishna doesn't leave Vrindavan. But if he has some business given by Krishna, then he leaves Vrindavan, and after finishing his mission, he again returns back. So Krishna continues, says, your qualities, they always attract me. And for sure, because of your wonderful qualities, these qualities will bring me back to Vrindavan within 10 or 20 days. You don't worry. And then I shall enjoy with you, and all the Brajavasis, both day and night, will perform wonderful pastimes here. So while Krishna was speaking like this, he became really anxious to return to Vrindavan. And he spoke one very, very interesting verse, which is from Srimad Bhagavatam. And hearing this verse, Srimati Radharani, she became free of all the anxieties. What was that verse? Mai bhakter hi bhutanam amritatvaya kalpate दिष्ट्या यदासीन् मत्स्नेहो भवतीनां यदापनः मयि भक्तिर्हि भूतानाम् अमृतत्वाय कल्पते. Devotional service to me is the only way to attain me. My bhakti, my devotional unto me, amritatvaya kalpate. It is the only way to attain me. Ishtya. Ishtya means by some good fortune. Oh my dear gopis, Krishna tells this verse to gopis. He says, all of you gopis in Kurukshetra. This comes in the 10th canto. Krishna is telling to all the gopis. Dishtya, by some good fortune, you have obtained such love and affection for me. And Bhavatinam Madapana. And because of your love, I will definitely return. This love and affection will become the cause of my returning back to Vrindavan. So, Krishna, he spoke all these wonderful statements. Pacifying Srimati Radharani. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he would sit in his room along with Swarup Damodar Goswami, and he would listen all these wonderful descriptions. Day and night, he would hear all these descriptions from Bhagavatam and various other scriptures. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as he's dancing in front of Lord Jagannath's Rath, he's absorbed in ecstatic emotions. He's constantly looking at the face of Lord Jagannath, and he's dancing and reciting various verses. Raj Goswami says, nobody can understand the good fortune of Sarup Damodar Goswami, who was always with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was always serving Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Very important definition of what is fortune. Goswarupa Gosaira Bhagya Nayaya Varnan Prabhute Avishtayara Kaye Vakyaman. Swarup Gosaira Bhagya Nayaya Varnan. Nobody can describe the good fortune of Swarup Damodar Goswami. What was the good fortune he had? Prabhute Avishta Kaya Vakya Man. His body, his words, his mind. All these were constantly absorbed in serving Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is good fortune. That's the definition of fortune. Anyone who is absorbed in service of Lord with his mind, body, and words. Kai, Mano, Vakya. These three things they come always. Kai, Mano, Vakya, Kore, Chaitanya. Kai, Mano, Vakya, Chinti, Chaitanya, Charani. Raghunath Das Goswami was described like that. Bhagavatam also describes a person should serve the Lord with his mind, body, and words. Kayena vacha manasaindriyerva buddhyatmana va nusita svabhava karoti yadeda sakalam parasmai narayanateti samarpayet tat kayena vacha manasa. These three things they come always. That's how one becomes fortunate. If one surrenders the mind, body, and words in service of Lord Krishna, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that is fortune. And Swarup Damodar Goswami was so much aligned with the thoughts of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that Kaviraj Goswami says that actually the senses of Mahaprabhu were identical with the senses of Swarup Damodar Goswami. That means Swarup Damodar would know what Mahaprabhu is thinking now, what he wants now. That is the first class servant. Even without telling, Swarup Damodar would know what Mahaprabhu needs, which verse I should speak, which shloka, which bhajan, which song, how to pacify Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu was absorbed in hearing the singing of Swarup Damodar because he would sing whatever Mahaprabhu wanted. Sometimes Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his emotional ecstasies, he would sit down on the ground, looking down with his finger, he would start writing on the ground. And Swarup Damodar, she would be little concerned that in that ecstatic emotion, Mahaprabhu would hurt his finger. So he would catch hold of the hand of Mahaprabhu. Raj Goswami writes, Prabhura Bhavanurupa Swarupera Gan Yabe se rasataha kare murtiman Prabhura Bhav Anurupa Swarupera Gan. Swarup Damodar Goswami would sing according to the ecstatic emotions. Prabhura Bhava Anurup. According to the Bhava of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Swarupera Gan. Swarup Damodar Goswami would sing. Yabe ye rasa taha kore murtiman. Whatever Lord wanted to hear, in whatever ecstatic emotion he was in, Swarup would sing accordingly. That's how he was always absorbed. Swarup Damodar Goswami was really intelligent. Shastre Sangite Gandharvasam Shastre Brihaspati Damodar Samar Nahi Mahamati. He was really intelligent and he was expert singer like Gandharva. So he was like an all-rounder devotee, expert in everything, singing, scholarly presentation. Anybody would come and he would tell that I want to show my presentation to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. First of all, they had to show their composition to Swarup Damodar Goswami, and only if uh, he would say yes, then that composition would be shown to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Only after the permission of Swarup Damodar Goswami, after he sanctions it, then only it was shown. So Mahaprabhu was always absorbed, hearing from Swarup Damodar Goswami. So many other things also happened in Rath Yatra. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would be absorbed in taking darshan of the beautiful lotus face of Lord Sri Jagannath, as Jagannath ji is dressed nicely with all the wonderful garments, ornaments. The sunshine would fall on the face of Lord Jagannath, and the face of Jagannath would be just lit up. So many wonderful fragrant oils and fragrant water was spread everywhere. Entire atmosphere was fragrant. Prabhura Hridayananda Sindhu Thalila Unmad Jhanjhavat Tata Shane Uthila. Prabhura Hriday, seeing all this wonderful atmosphere, giving so much pleasure to Lord Jagannath, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his heart was full of ecstatic bliss. And the Jhanjhavat, it was like a hurricane of emotions. Jhanjhavat Uthila. Hurricane of emotions were rising in the heart of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, seeing Lord Jagannath dressed so nicely. Various emotions were appearing in the heart of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They were appearing like soldiers fighting. Sometimes one emotion will come, next moment other emotion would come. Shvedakam Paromanch Ashru Gadgad Vaivarne Unmad Vishad Garva Harsha Dainya Eta Bhave Prema Bhakta Ganira Nachaye Premira Anandamrita Sagare Bhasai. All these ecstatic emotions, they rise in the heart of pure devotee. Sometimes you feel happy, sometimes sad. They're like opposite emotions. Sometimes very joyful, sometimes very morose, sometimes angry, sometimes laughing. They're like fighting soldiers. The Rajgoswami continues. And all these emotions, they were like, he explains various emotions. Unmad, sometimes transcendental bliss, sometimes distress, sometimes his body would be full of ecstatic emotions. He appeared like a Himalaya mountain, and all the ecstatic symptoms appearing in the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would be like various wonderful blooming trees. with full blown flowers. देखिते आकर्षय सबार चित्त मन प्रेमामृत वृष्टि प्रभुर सिंचे सबार मन. And all the devotees, they were just absorbed in taking darshan of such beautiful dancing of the Lord, seeing the darshan of the Lord as he is manifesting such wonderful ecstatic symptoms. Prabhura Premamrita Vrishti. So what Mahaprabhu is doing here, he's not just experiencing those ecstatic emotions, he is showering those ecstatic emotions around on all the devotees who have assembled. He is nourishing the heart of all the devotees by all these ecstatic emotions. Prema Vrishtis Prabhu Sinche Sabarman. He is nourishing the hearts of all the devotees by manifesting such wonderful ecstatic symptoms. That's how when the great devotees, they manifest such wonderful ecstatic devotional symptoms. Everyone is nourished by that. Just by being near pure devotees, experiencing such wonderful symptoms. An ordinary sadhaka also experiences lots of joy. And all of us have experienced a little bit of this whenever we are in close association of some great devotees. One time, one of the Prabhupada disciples, I forgot his name, he was sharing his experiences with Prabhupada. I think his name was Sudama Prabhu or somebody was there. He was telling one day he was with Prabhupada in his room. He was guarding Prabhupada's room. He was a servant of Prabhupada. And it was afternoon time. So it was his duty to ask Prabhupada if he needs something. Prabhupada was taking rest, it seems, apparently. After some time, he entered the room of Prabhupada and he saw Prabhupada is looking out from the window. And he has tears coming out of his eyes. So this devotee could understand Prabhupada is having some ecstatic exchanges with Krishna. He didn't want to disturb Prabhupada. He came out. After some time, again, he went inside. Again, Prabhupada was in that same mood. So this devotee, he was again leaving. First time, Prabhupada didn't see that this devotee had come in. Second time, Prabhupada noticed. Prabhupada called him. Oh, why are you going away? So he said, Prabhupada, I didn't want to trouble you, disturb you. And looking at you, I thought maybe you are having some ecstatic exchanges with Krishna. Then Prabhupada told him, by the mercy of my Guru Maharaj, I can see Krishna down in the garden. As he's playing his flute, I can see him there. That's why I'm in such ecstasy. And hearing this, the devotee started crying. He also experienced such ecstatic symptoms. So Prabhupada asked, why are you crying? I am crying because I am seeing Krishna. Why are you crying? So he said, Prabhupada, I am so fortunate that I have such a wonderful spiritual master. So many of the Prabhupada disciples, and all the Prabhupada disciples, they have this experience. When they are with Prabhupada, they experience ecstatic emotions. Because a pure devotee or an advanced devotee nourishes the heart of all the devotees just by their devotional service. And that is what Krishna is also doing here. And that's why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also doing here. He is nourishing all the devotees by his ecstatic emotion. Sinche, Premamrita, Prishte, Sinche, Prabhu Sinche Sabaraman. And then Kaviraj Goswami continues. He sprinkled the mind of everyone around, mind of the servants of Lord Jagannath, the king Prataprudra, servants of the king, all the visitors who are coming to Jagannath Puri, all the residents of Jagannath Puri. Everyone was nourished. प्रभुर नृत्य प्रेम देखी होए चमत्कार, कृष्ण प्रेम उच्च लीला हृदय सवार. Seeing the ecstatic dancing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everyone's heart was infatuated with love of God. प्रेम नाचे गाए लोक करे कोलाहल, प्रभुर नृत्य देखी सबे आनंद विह्वल. Everyone was absorbed in ecstasy. Premamrite, Nache, Gai, Kore, Kolahal, they were dancing, singing, very loudly chanting Hari Hari. Annero ki koi. What to speak of others? Even Jagannath ji was so very happy. Annero ki kai Jagannath haladhar, Prabhur nitya dekhi sukhe chalila manthar. Even Jagannath ji and Balram ji was very happy seeing the wonderful dancing of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They were also moving slowly. Mahaprabhu is dancing in front of Lord Jagannath and Baladev's Rath, and they are very happy. Sometimes Jagannath ji and Baladev they would stop. Sometimes they move slowly. They would observe the dance of Mahaprabhu. Anyone who was present there, they could see this exchange between Jagannath and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How Jagannath is reciprocating with the dancing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Everyone could see this. Now, something interesting happened. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is dancing, and in the fit of ecstasy, he fell down, and he fell right in front of Prataprudra Maharaj. So naturally, if Lord is falling, definitely anybody would try to catch the Lord just so that he doesn't fall on the ground. So Prataprudra Maharaj picked the Lord because nobody else was there around. All the assistants of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Kashishwara, Govinda, who would always be around him, protecting him, ready to catch him, they were not there somehow. It happens sometimes. Nityananda Prabhu was absorbed in dancing. Kashishwara and Govinda was not there. They were somewhere else. Prabhupada Maharaj was there. So he caught. And then what Mahaprabhu did was really astonishing. Raja dekhi Mahaprabhu kare na धिक्कार, छी विषय sparsho hoila amar. Mahaprabhu, when he was touched by Prataprudra, he came back to consciousness. And he says, oh, chi, what, chi, oh, how pitiful. Ah, kitna ganda hai, chi. Vishaira sparsho ilama. I am touched by a mundane person. Mahaprabhu is Mahavadanyaya for people in general. But when it comes to teaching some principles of bhakti, he is very strict, very strong. And he uses his devotees to show the highest principles, highest regulative principles. What was the principle Lord was teaching here? Lord was teaching how a person, how a devotee should be very, very careful to avoid association with materialists. यद्यपि राजा देखी हारिड़ा सेवन, प्रसन्न हैया चेतारे मिली बारे मन. Although Mahaprabhu was very pleased when he saw that Prataprudra Maharaj is sweeping the road in front of Jagannath ji, but yet prasanna हैया चेतारे मिली बारे, he wanted to meet Prataprudra Maharaj. But still, why he is behaving like this? Kaviraj Goswami writes, just to warn his personal associates about the dangers of association with materialist people. Externally, he is expressing anger. Internally, he is so very happy with Prataprudra Maharaj. Prabhupada writes, when Prataprudra Maharaj wanted to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu refused, saying, I can't meet a Vishay. Mahaprabhu quoted a verse from Hari Bhakta Sudodaya at that time. निष्किञ्चनस्य भगवद् भजनोन्मुखस्य पारं परं जिगिमसोर्भवसागरस्य Sandarshanam Vishayna Matayoshitam cha ha hanta hanta Vishabhakshanatopya sadhu. This verse says, a person who is on the path of liberation, on the path of Bhagavad Bhajan, who has given up all the material attachments, he should be careful of two things. Sandarshanam Vishayna, association of Vishay and Vishay, should be very careful because it is more deadly than being in the ditch full of snakes, being in a cage full of snakes. Srila Prabhupada writes, this formality is to be observed by anyone who is serious about going back to garden. And Srila Prabhupada is teaching by his example how I should be careful. Although he was very satisfied with Prataprudra Maharaj. And Prabhupada writes, actually he was very pleased with Maharaj Prataprudra. He intentionally allowed him to touch. But externally he wanted to teach his associates also. So he is behaving like this. Prataprudra Maharaj and Maharaj Prataprudra became very frightened hearing this. He thought maybe I have done a great offense. Sarvam Bhattacharya was nearby. He said, don't worry. Tomara upare Prabhu suprasanna man. Toma lakshya kori shikhayana nijagan. Or suprasanna. He says, don't worry, Lord is very pleased with you. Just to teach others, he is pointing at you. So that his devotees should be careful. One should not associate with materialists. Prabhupada writes, outwardly, the king was a pounds and shillings man, but he was a great devotee from the heart. He was very meek and humble, and he had shown by his personal example by sweeping the road in front of Lord Jagannath. Prabhupada writes, therefore, one should be very careful not to judge a devotee from externals. Mahaprabhu did it, but we should be very careful. And Mahaprabhu is showing by his example. Externally, if some devotee is dressed in opulent clothes, we should not judge. Mahaprabhu is showing this just to tell us the principle of avoiding association of materialists. Sarvam Bhattacharya continues. He says, I shall submit your petition on right time, and then you can come and meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Don't worry about that. So Mahaprabhu, he circumambulated the Rath of Jagannath. He went behind the cart and he started pushing it with his head. And the Rath, which was standing, because Mahaprabhu, whenever he goes back, Jagannathji stops. So now Mahaprabhu is pushing the Rath with his head. So Rath, it starts moving with a rattling noise. And Mahaprabhu and all the other associates, they came again in front. They were dancing. Then they came in front of the Rath of Balbhadra and Subhadra first. After dancing for a long time, then they came in front of the Rath of Jagannathji. There they were dancing. And in this way, they reached a place called as Balagandi. There, the Rath stopped. The Balagandi is a place which has lots of wonderful gardens on both sides. So Jagannathji is moving on seeing the right and the left. He's enjoying the wonderful gardens, remembering Vrindavan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees, they were still dancing. But when they reached this place, it was customary to offer food, offer bhoga to the Lord. Hundreds of items were offered to Lord Jagannath. And devotees, they were offering their best of their preparations. Different types of preparations. Everyone was offering his preparation. The king, the king's ministers, the queen, all the ordinary residents, all the pandas, everybody. Where they were offering? Wherever they found a place. There was no restrictions. There was no rules and regulations. Wherever they found a place, they offered. They were offering all around the Rath. So while this food was being offered, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he entered one of the gardens and he fell flat on a raised platform. He was completely exhausted because of dancing for a long, long time. And he was enjoying the cool breeze which was blowing. In some time, all the devotees also came there. They found tree. Every devotee found their tree, and everybody was resting under the tree. Then Kaviraj Goswami ends this wonderful description. Eita kohila prabhur mahasankirtan Jagannathir agiyaiche korila naratan. So in this way, I have described the wonderful performance of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as he is dancing in front of Lord Jagannath. Rathagrete prabhuyaiche korila nartan Chaitanyashtake Rupa Gosai kariyache varnan. Rupa Goswami has written various compositions. He has written 3 compositions with the title Chaitanya Ashtakam. And in this, he has described the wonderful dancing of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Kaviraj Goswami quotes one of the verses from this composition. How Mahaprabhu danced on the main road, and as he is taking darshan of Lord Jagannath, who is sitting on his cart, overwhelmed with transcendental bliss, exhibiting all the ecstatic emotions, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is dancing. Rupa Goswami says, when will that Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again be visible in my vision? Kaviraj Goswami ends this chapter by giving the Falashruti. What is a benediction? What a devotee will get by hearing all this wonderful description. We are hearing since so many weeks. इहा यही सुने श्री चैतन्य पाए सुदृढ़ विश्वास सह प्रेम भक्ति होय. इहा यही सुने, anybody who hears this, say Sri Chaitanya Pai. He attains Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sudrida Vishwas Saha, he develops fixed determination and faith, and he attains love of God. Prema Bhakti Hari. So that is the benediction which Kaviraj Goswami gives to all the devotees who have heard this wonderful description of Lord Jagannath dancing in front of Rath Yatra. Shri Rupa Raghunath Padayaras Chaitanya Charitāmrta Kahe Krishnadas. With this, Kaviraj Goswami ends this chapter. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Jai. Shri Jai. Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki Jai.